Hello and welcome everybody to our podcast, Welcome to Livingston. My name is Don Putkela.
And I'm Angela Putkela.
And this is our podcast brought to you by the Putkela Group with KW Living here in Brighton. And it's Welcome to Livingston, where we talk about all things Livingston County, local businesses and such. And we are really excited about who we have coming in today. Today we have Big Kahuna Catering. You've probably seen his food truck around with Justin Swain. Thank you so much for joining us today.
You're welcome. Glad to be here.
Great. And I know for us, and there's so many food trucks around, right? But yours really stands out. I think it's fun, but the food was delicious, which is really
I got both of those. Fun and delicious. Yeah.
So I guess to start off today, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit about the food truck?
Sure. Yeah. I was a chef for quite a while. Had a career change, missed cooking so much. I had to get back into it. So started up my own thing and just built up over the years, with these events that I do. I started off with a little tent and a grill, and then I added a deep fryer, and then got a big, nice tiki hut looking tent, and a nice trailer to pull everything along the way. And I've just built it up as time went on, and so just gotten more efficient at it. And it's definitely a nice, fun festival setup I got, and the food I do is it's great, and the tornado fries are what people come over for. That's
heck yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I was going to ask what the fan favorite is. So it's the tornado fries. Then,
yeah, that's what brings them in. That's what. Yeah.
Well, like see when you're walking around a festival, you see them walking around, and I think that's a big part of it. It's like you see people walk food. It's like, where did that come from?
Yeah, that it's funny. Is I had to learn. So when I was a chef in these kitchens over the years, and I would always do these specials, and it meant a lot to me to sell a special. And so the wait staff, some of them could sell, like crazy, and some of them didn't try so hard. So I would try to make a special so beautiful, so gorgeous, and that people would see it at another table, and I want that. I want that. And so I knew when I started this that I wanted something that people would see it and come to me for it. So I knew from the start that's what I was going to do, something like that. So that's kind of how just my experience in the kitchen helped me get the idea to even do that in the first place.
Well, that is awesome. So for those listening out there, I guess what kind of foods do you have on your truck? And B, what exactly are tornado fries for those that haven't seen them?
Yeah, so burgers and fries is what I do, and I just do them contemporary, fun way. I do 3rd-pound burgers. The Big Kahuna Burger. I ripped the name off of a movie. I got it from Pulp Fiction. Okay. So that scene where Samuel L. Jackson, he's eating that guy's cheeseburger, and he's like, Big Kahuna Burger. That's a tasty burger. So that's where I got the name. And so that's how I kind of have the whole Hawaiian theme with the tiki hut looking deal, right? Yeah. Came from that. And then my neighbor Angela made my logo. It's a tiki god with a cheeseburger in the mouth. It's really cool.
Yeah.
And then, so the Big Kahuna Burger, I do fresh pineapple, peel it, cut it, grill it, Hawaiian barbecue sauce on a cheeseburger, and that's fun. Some people love it. Some people hate it because it's pineapple on a burger.
Right.
I get it. I'm one of those people. I love pineapple on my pizza. It's a thing. Some people hate it. Some people love it. You don't have to get it.
Right. No, I understand.
Yeah, it's a great flavor. Yeah. He's a big pineapple fan for sure.
No, and I know our son loves it too. And he's like, barbecue sauce has to be on everything. So they have pineapple and barbecue sauce on the burger.
Yeah, I love it. What's great about pineapple on food, on burgers, on savory foods is that it's sweet, and you put the barbecue, it's sour, sweet and sour, and because the burger's fatty with the cheese, and you put the salt, and so it's all about balance, And the bacon, the crispy bacon, it's fatty, it's salty, and then you add that sweet and sour element. Now you got something with all these flavors popping,
Right.
So the whole thing comes together and tastes great. Yeah. So that's my signature burger.
Right.
And then I have the Shaky Jake. That's the spicy one. I figured you got to have at least one spicy burger.
Yeah.
Right.
So jalapenos, chipotle mayo. They're great. That's a great one. I got the name Shaky Jake is a blues musician in Ann Arbor.
Okay.
So I worked in Ann Arbor for years, a bunch of the restaurants up and down Main Street, and back in the early 2000s or late 90s even, I'd be out there walking to work. I'd go to I worked at the Chop House or Real Seafood or Argiro's.
Okay.
Argiro's Italian restaurant. They're closed now. But anyway, I would walk by there and that guy, he'd be out there on the street playing the blues. And I don't know, he's just somebody I remembered. Everybody thought he was homeless, but he was actually pretty wealthy. You didn't know that.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And he's a local legend out there. And it's funny, I changed the name over several times, but that one, I liked the name. It stuck. I did the Blues Fest in Ann Arbor one time and picked that name for that.
Okay.
And I just kept it since then because I just think it sounds cool.
That's very cool.
Yeah. And then I have the Royale with cheese.
Okay. Again, from the
Yeah.
Pulp Fiction,
Right.
yeah.
Right. Yeah, the Royale with cheese. It's basically kind of like a Big Mac.
Right.
Big Mac style sauce.
Yeah.
It's a bacon cheeseburger with a Big Mac sauce, I call it.
Got you.
Also from the movie La Big Mac.
Right.
So those are my burgers. I do sell a lot of those.
Right.
They're juicy. I make sure they're juicy. That's why my burgers are so good. I do not overcook them. What I do is I heat them up and I let them sit in their own fat for a little bit.
Right.
And they just render in their own fat in this pan. I'll put a bunch of them in there. I'll pull them out, melt the cheese on top. By the time you get it, you get this nice, juicy burger. That's the key.
That's what everybody wants. The
Yeah.
juicy burger, right?
Yeah, you don't want you don't want to dry it out, right? That's all you got to do is don't dry that thing out and season it right, and you got a good burger. So that's the key with
and then you pair that up with your fry on a stick there, right?
Yeah, the tornado fries. Right.
Yep.
Yeah, those. So it's funny. So when I first came up with the idea to do this, I did some research, because I was like, well, you got to be competitive, right?
Right.
And I noticed that I'd go around. I spent a couple years toying before I even did this with the idea of what would I do, know? And I noticed two things. The guys with the tent setups always had big lines because you could see them cooking it right in front of you, right? And they'll smell and the smoke would come your way. And the guys with the deep fryers always had big lines.
Right.
Whether they're doing corn dogs, elephant ears, or deep fried Oreos, French fries, everything that had anything deep fried was selling, right?
Right.
So I'm thinking, okay, well, I know there's a lot of barbecue guys out there. There's a lot of great barbecue guys out there. And I said, well, that'd be a tough competition, right? Everyone's selling barbecue, so what can I do that's a little different? And so it just so happens, hey, burgers and fries, we sell more burgers and fries in this country than anything. It's the number one selling food in America, more than pizza, tacos. We eat more burgers and fries in this country than any other food. So I'm like, okay, that'll work. There's a niche. And then the tornado fry. I just kept looking and looking for just something kind of different, and I found the idea on Pinterest of all places.
Wow.
Yeah, crazy.
And it's I didn't come up with it. I just use it, and it's unique.
Right.
And so people like it. It's actually Korean street food.
Really?
Interesting enough, it's Korean street food. Actually, when I first started out, I used to sell Korean barbecue tacos.
Oh, wow.
I don't do those as much. I do them here every once in a while now, but that's a big thing in LA, these Korean street tacos. Right. So I used to sell those once in a while. Well, I used to sell them, and then I started selling less and less of them, but just because I do more burgers and fries. And it's hard to have such a big menu. Yeah. It's kind of easier, and it makes more sense. Hey, this is what I specialize in. This is what I do. If I have a giant menu, hey, if I do a great burger and a great fry,
that's all you need.
Yeah,
that's all you need.
Stick with that. That's what people like. So I kind of just shedded things. I used to do street corn sometimes too.
Got ya.
I just do it very well. Do a couple things very well. And it comes out better that way.
And so do you have a machine that spiral cuts the potato like that?
Yeah.
Because for those that can't, they haven't seen it before, he spiral cuts a potato and puts it on like a big long stick, basically, right?
Yeah. I got so it's an 18-inch skewer,
right?
And so you have this spiralizer. Now they have electric ones.
Right.
Mine is by hand, and every so often people come by and say, "Well, why don't you put that thing on a drill gun?" And zzz, which you can do. I've seen people do it, but every time I've tried to do it, it spins it so fast, so hard then it starts to shred the potato.
Got you.
And the other thing is like if you hooked up a drill gun on this thing, it puts weight down.
Right.
You know, so there's probably a way if you were clever enough,
Right.
to make it work where it doesn't, spin, put too much weight on one end. You could, go in and out of there, no problem. But I don't know. I always find it just easy enough,
Right.
just do
Well,
it.
people probably love seeing it done too.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's it's part of the show, right? People
Right.
come by
Yeah.
and just watch the guy in the spinner,
Right.
twirling this thing,
The flavoring's great too.
Yeah,
so
right.
the stuff you put on it, I
Yeah.
mean, it's
Yeah.
fun to eat, fun to look at, and delicious.
Well,
Yes.
and I think that's the big thing with the food trucks and the festivals. When you guys go to festivals, when I'm walking around a festival, I'm looking to see what other people are eating. What do people have? What looks like, you said, fun and such.
Right.
And then, the Big Kahuna Burger, you get a little messy eating the burger, but you're supposed to get a little messy eating a burger if you're walking around because it's
Right.
amazing.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm glad you tried it. And
Yeah.
yeah, I have a good time doing it. And yeah, I could see myself doing it for a while. So.
Cool.
Yeah, because it was the Barbecue Blues Fest that Brighton puts on. Last year we were volunteering.
Oh, okay.
And so at the beer tent, it was kind of fun. Actually, I got to be a bouncer. That was kind of funny. I'm like, okay.
Did you bounce anybody out of there?
No, but I'll tell you, some people that were underage were kind of really second guessing. Like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be in line. Like saw them like get out of line. So I'm like, yep, I'm checking IDs.
Right.
Right.
Right, yeah.
But it was neat because so we volunteered, and then after we're like, oh, geez, we've been seeing all this great food. We want to find some, and you guys weren't quite, setting up shop or finishing up, but close,
okay,
close.
okay,
But it was
okay.
great.
I got the
'cause-
last pineapple of the night.
Yeah.
Oh, right on. Yep.
perfect.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes I get low on those and I have to have a countdown. And I'm like, I
Right.
got 2 pineapple left.
Yeah.
And then you're like, yeah. Then we'll get it. Like somebody will mess up and be like, oh no, there's none left. And I'll be like, oh no, I got one more. You're lucky.
Yeah, because everyone feels excited when
Yeah.
that happens,
Yeah.
But I had some of the tornado fries left when I got home, and boy, the kids, they were just like, "What is this?"
Yeah.
And-
It's so different.
Yeah.
It's interesting. You put because a lot of people are like, oh, I got one of them at home. It's a apple core. It kind of looks like it. But the device is a little bit different because you have to stick that skewer in the center of it. And
Right.
when you cut it, the potato wraps around it so tight
Yeah.
that you
Wow.
can, you just fluff it out and, there
Right.
you go.
Yeah. So what kind of festivals do you go to and such?
So, yeah, I do locally, there's the Perkins Mud Bog is probably my best event.
Okay.
That's my favorite event. That's a great one. He does a couple of them a year. And they've been doing those since, heck, I was in high school.
Right.
They've been around a long time. Dan Perkins, and it's a cool neat event over there. It's really unique. The Chelsea Sounds and Sights, I'll be there this Friday, Saturday.
Okay.
The Pinckney food truck rallies, I started doing those, I think, last summer. I was amazed how well I did there. I did not think I would do that well, and I just...
Yeah, those food truck rallies are really starting to get popular.
Yeah,
I mean,
they
I
do
know
a good job over there.
I know they have the Pinckney one. There's Tuesdays down in Howell that they do as well.
Right. And I typically, because of my work schedule, outside of the food truck thing, I can only do, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. And even sometimes on Fridays, I can't get into them because I got too much going on.
Right. No, I understand.
Makes sense.
Yeah, like I missed the first food truck rally.
Got you.
I was working. It's hard to take time off, so I missed the Howell ones, or even the big the Perkins had a big week-long event. I missed that one. Just
Right.
I have other stuff going on sometimes, but if it's on the weekend and it's only 2 or 3 days, I can do it.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then I do. Let's see. There's after Chelsea, I'll be in Livonia, the Highland Games,
Okay.
which is really cool. It's like this Celtic throwing logs and stuff.
That's over at what, Meadowbrook Park, right?
It's in Green Mead Park.
Oh, Green Mead.
Green
Yep.
Mead,
yeah. They have the Irish Fest there too. That's the
Yep.
one that and I really like the Irish Fest. That's a great festival. Really, really nice people.
Yeah.
It's just, easy peasy over there. They're really easygoing. The guy that works that thing, Charlie, he's a great guy. they're a real fun place to get in at.
Oh yeah, no, I've seen that's right off of 8 Mile there.
Yeah, Newburgh and
Newburgh,
7,
yep.
8 or something like
Yep.
that. Yeah. And then the Tecumseh Apple Lumpkin Festival. I did that one for the first time last fall, and that one was amazing too. I love that one. That was, man, I was like, I can't believe I didn't do this sooner. It was great. They do train rides.
Oh, neat.
They do these people get in the train and they take this old train up and down.
Yep.
Let's see what else.
You know that.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say there's a car show. This Romeo. It's
Okay.
Todd Romeo. He's off of Hiney Road. He does a couple of those a year in Brighton here.
Oh, cool.
Those are really cool too. Those
Yeah.
are fun. They bring there's this old cars and trucks there. They're really fun to look at. And so I do some auto shows.
Right. And that is so cool because I know, summer in Michigan, we have all these local festivals and things going on that a lot of people don't know about.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you walk around them and it's, I saw him here and I saw him there. And what a great thing to, I missed out on it last time and now I see him and he's got the pineapples this time.
Yeah, right, yeah. Yeah, there I am.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And then if someone has like a wedding or a graduation party, you are able to be hired for that.
I am, yeah. I got limited time. It's
Yep.
hard. It's
Book
hard for
early,
me.
right?
Yeah, right. Because I can only handle so many of these. I do these events a year, so it's a lot of times, most of the time, people try to book me, and I'm too busy.
Yeah.
It's just how it is, and I just have so much going on. I'm not the best about promoting myself with the catering and all that,
Right.
just because I have so much going on. But I am able to do it if you call me, and if I'm available, I'll gladly come out and I'll do a good job.
Cool.
Right. That's so cool because a lot of people don't realize there's only so many weekend dates a year.
Right.
And
right.
everybody seems to want to do everything in, June, July.
Right.
I'm like, hey, there's only like 8 weeks.
Right. Yeah, June. Yeah, because the first weekend of June, I'm always at the Mud Bog. The second weekend of June, I'm always at the Irish Festival.
Right.
They're always on the same weekends,
Yep.
Yeah.
Just like the Todd Romeo guy, he has his certain weekends.
Yeah.
All of them. They're always the food truck rallies. They're always so. Like I already know going into next summer, like June is really hard to book me, or July is usually a little bit easier for me.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, that's very cool. Now, are there any ideas in terms of the menu of anything that you might be thinking about adding to it, or?
I do ice cream floats. I do cones sometimes,
cool.
lemonade. Those things come and go.
Right.
Yeah.
I might do street corn again someday. Just depends on how efficient I can make it, and how,
Right.
It's,
Gotcha.
part of the problem with adding things and taking things off is having the people, the amount of help, because that's another, I find myself struggling with getting enough help for a lot of these
Yeah.
events.
No, a lot of the businesses we've talked to, that's been the same thing.
Yeah, that's the hard. I'm always reaching out to friends, kids. Like Dustin, I'll call. I'll get his son, or my friends and their kids. They show up. My daughter's friends.
Right.
Nieces, nephews, just anybody that has time.
Right.
Yeah.
It's hard to get adult. It's hard to get adult, like a full-time adult, because I'm only sporadic.
So a question I wanted to ask, for all these events that you go to and such, do you change the menu a little bit based on like what type of event it is, or the people that are going to it?
Yeah, I will. So like the street corn,
right,
that I've done, or even the Korean barbecue tacos. I'll even do these pulled pork parfait sometimes. That's
cool.
like exclusive to like the Brighton Barbecue Festival. Like that's
Right.
only because it's a barbecue festival, will I do that? Or if it's like cold out, I'm not doing floats. I might add lemonade if it's super hot out.
right,
If it's not, then I'm not going to add that to the menu,
right, because you get a little bit different people at the Mud Bog versus the Highland games versus
Right.
the barbecue, I guess, right?
Yeah, and I'll adjust how much. Like, let's say I go to certain events that I know there's going to be a lot of other fries. Like the Apple Lumpkin Festival, I don't sell as many fries because there's just a row of guys selling fries. There'll be like 4 or 5 trucks there selling fries because they're doing corn dogs and all this like
Right.
deep fryer stuff. but there's not a whole lot of just savory food. There might be a barbecue guy, a guy selling gyros, and I got a good market on just good savory food.
Right.
And I got burgers and I got like all these fresh vegetables and stuff.
Yep.
So people, boom, I'm selling tons of burgers, not as many fries.
Right.
So like I'll adjust,
Yeah.
accordingly. Sometimes that happens too. You got to think about what, or if like maybe there's somebody else selling burgers, I might not sell as many burgers.
Right.
But they're not selling fries. Then I'll sell more fries.
Right.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I mean,
sense.
it's got to be like logistically and everything insane sometimes because you're coming to these festivals and you're there for 10, 12 hours and it's not like you got a deep freezer with you.
Right. No, actually, I do bring a deep freezer.
Oh, there you go.
Cool.
But it's still hard. And I don't always bring it, but I do sometimes. Well, if I'm selling ice cream, I do.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
But there's a lot of times where I'm not.
Right.
A lot of times I'm not, and that's the thing. I have a refrigerator on site. So my grill, it's a big grill, a fryer, and then a big refrigerator. Electric, plug it in.
Right.
It's keeping everything cold. If I have the chest freezer, most of the time I do have the chest freezer.
Right.
I can keep ice and ice cream cold in there, and that helps out. But yeah, it's like if I run out, I'm going to the store. I got to send somebody to the store.
Right.
And then that's hard.
Yes.
Like, let's say there's a giant line to get back into the place. Oh, what's another one I've been doing the last couple of years, which does amazing, is my first festival of the year is the Kensington Art Fair. This thing is incredible. It's one of my best events.
Okay.
It's 3 days. It's right on the beach, so it's just gorgeous. I really like that one. But if there's been a time or two where I had to go to the store, and there's just a line of cars to get in so long that
Yeah, there's only a couple ways into there, so
yeah, right. So I remember this year I had somebody go pick up burgers for me that I was getting really low, and it took so long. I mean, I literally had a big line and I had no burgers. I mean, I just ran out. I just sold my last burger. I have this huge line, and here they are with a dolly filled, with burger. I'm like, boom, got it on the grill.
Let's go.
Just in time,
That's
so
true.
it can get hard. Yeah, it can
no control to know how many people are going to be there.
Right.
So yeah,
Right.
Yeah,
And you're weather dependent as well on these things, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The rain cost me at least $1,000 at the last Food Truck Friday in Pinckney here.
Right.
Because that one, it's Friday, so everybody gets off work and shows up. Well, you're there all day, and it's going, it's popping. But man, when come 5, 6 o'clock, when everybody's home from work, that's when it really goes. That's when you make your, that's harvest time. That's when you get your big lines. That's when this thing's really booming.
Right.
And then Mother Nature says, "Oh no,
Right.
not today, dude."
Yep.
Down comes the rain and the thunder, and you're scrambling to keep things dry. Like I'm moving things around. Like moving my tents around and pulling things.
that would get really tough.
Yeah. You can get if you're not careful and you're out in the open, because a lot of the food trucks they're enclosed, so
Right.
the rain isn't as bad. If you're under a tent.
Right.
You got rain is a big
because you've got the tiki bar and everything and all that, so people know where you are and they can see you and such. But again, you're not enclosed in the truck all the time.
Yep, that's the downside is weather when you're in the tent guy. You're
Right.
the tent guy, and then you got to. So I have extra tents and I got awnings.
Right.
I got all sorts of things that help that out nowadays. When I first started, one of the very first events I ever did was in Detroit, and I lost so much money. It was in Hart Plaza, and when you do this, you learn along the way.
Right.
This event, I learned so much. I made so many mistakes.
Right.
This is like in 2015. I'm in Detroit. I'm at this rib and jazz festival, and the guy he gets me in there and tells me I'm going to sell 100,000 cheeseburgers, and I better bring all this stuff, and I paid. Like $3,000 to get into this thing. And there's like 2,000 people there, and it rains on me, and there's a ton of competition, and I just lost, lost tons. And, I learned a lot. I learned a lot about how to deal with weather, don't have your paper goods out, don't leave that stuff out. Man, that stuff gets rain on, you're done. It's done,
Right.
You got all your napkins, all your tableware, just anything in cardboard.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Anything in cardboard at all, it's done. You know, you
Right.
get dumped on, you're in trouble. And, you know, how much you can spend at an event. Because, you know, like if they want $2,000, because a lot of them do. If they want $2,000 for me to show up, that means I got to sell $2,000 worth of food.
Just to break even.
And that means I have to work that hard to give you all my money. And it's like,
Right.
that's not what I didn't become an entrepreneur to go and work for you.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of times people don't realize when they're coming to these festivals and they're supporting the local businesses that are there. You're one of those local small businesses that you're there to get their support as well.
Right.
Even though you're giving them great food and everything. It's,
Right.
you know, it's not free for you to show up.
Right? No, absolutely. Yeah, you should. You should definitely help out the local guys. You know, I've definitely had my fair share of that where local vendors don't always get great treatment at some places, and it's
Right.
kind of like, dang man, because we spend our money here.
Yeah,
Right.
that
You know
breaks
what I
my
mean?
heart because
So it's like
we're
this
all
guy
about local,
from
man.
Ohio or way out of town comes in and might get a better spot, and then the local guys get pushed to the side, and you know it hurts
Right.
their pocketbook getting where they're stuck, and then
Right.
well, that other guy's going to take his money, go somewhere else and spend it. I'm going to pay my help.
Yeah, we're,
Right.
I'm
we're
going to
Livingston
spend
County.
my money here, and they're going to spend their money
Right.
around here, and we're going to circulate that
Yeah.
money around.
Well,
here.
yeah. Well, you know, I have to say you have a great reputation and your food is really good because when
Okay,
we're at the
thank you.
festivals and we're walking around and such, we're like, okay, you know, we know the ones that we've eaten from before. And then there's nothing worse than when you go to a festival and you have your kids with you and they're going to buy food and like, it looks good, but then you get it, you're like, oh my God, what did I just waste my money on?
Oh, I hate that. I know exactly what you're talking about. That's
Yeah.
why. Yeah, that's like why humans just become creatures of habit. When
Right.
you know you like something, you know, if I ever go to a Mexican place, I always get fajitas. I know I love fajitas.
Right.
Yeah.
Then I might steer off and get chili rellenos, and oh my gosh, this is terrible. What did I do?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good if you get used to something. You know,
Right.
that's the other helpful part when you're local, because that's, you know, people love my burgers. There's definitely been places where I've grown a following at certain places.
Right.
I've
Awesome.
seen that, and people come back, and
Right.
you know you're doing a good job.
Well deserved.
Is when they come back. You
Right.
know?
They're not coming to the festival for the festival anymore. They're looking for your burger.
Yeah. I've had that happen. It feels pretty good to know,
Right.
you know. But
Yeah.
you know, I really do put a lot of care and effort into it. You know, like
Yeah.
being the chef for all those years,
Yeah.
learning everything I did, and you know, it's like from the moment you buy it to the second it goes into someone's mouth, you want to do everything you can to make sure that thing is great. You know,
Right.
And
Yeah,
I
that
have that in me. I still have it in me to
Yeah.
to make sure that everything is, you know, above and beyond, tastes great, better than looking, you know, like even like when
Yeah.
I told you about those specials that would go out and would look gorgeous, that wasn't the only thing I cared about. I mean, I
Right.
made sure that there was a balance of flavor, that everything paired well, that it was cooked right. I mean, there was like, you know, was it seasoned right? I mean, there was like a lot of other things
So
that
much
went
that goes into it.
Right.
to
Yeah.
whether or not it just looked beautiful, you know, like on top of it looking beautiful.
Exactly.
You know, and a lot of people miss that, you know.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
a lot of people miss that. You just go for boom, it looks great.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
It's got to
Yep.
taste great too, you know.
That's exactly
You know,
right.
like the tornado fries, they have texture. They look cool because they have that height and elevation in their uniform,
Yeah.
and they look like
Right.
a big spiral tornado, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're also
But they're
also
delicious,
crunchy, and they're kind
yeah.
of salty, and they're, you know,
Yeah.
Really
you
good.
like them, yeah.
Yeah,
you
no.
know? So it's like it's like that with anything, you know, any restaurant you go to, you know, some things just look good, and some things they got to taste good and pair well before they just look good.
Right,
I
exactly
understand.
right.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
That experience, man, that just, you've really built something awesome
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
So,
So I guess wanted to ask, is there anything with all the catering and the different festivals and such? Is there any like interesting things you've seen at any of these festivals or such? So you're like, wow, that was interesting.
Yeah, like other people's things. Yeah, for sure. Like, you know, a lot of us kind of take ideas from each other sometimes,
Right.
or sometimes I wish I had that idea. So
Yeah.
for sure. Okay, I'm going to be at the Chelsea the Chelsea Sounds and Sights Festival.
Right.
The guy there, Barbecue 52, he's the reason why I did that pulled pork parfait. But you know, I saw him do it, and it was great. You know, I
Right.
tried it, and it was awesome. I wouldn't dare go over there and do it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
take his idea.
No.
But while I was there was another guy that sells burgers. He sells Kahuna Burgers.
We went to Alaska like 20 years ago, and we went to a salmon bake. and it took me like 5 years to figure out how the hell they made the sauce.
Right.
You know, I would come home and I'm like, no, that's not right. We're gonna try this again.
Yes.
You know, because you taste somebody else's food, you're like,
I want that again.
I want that again.
Yeah, for sure. There are some things that just, you know, like it took me a really long time to learn Asian technique flavors. You know, I never did perfect the perfect sweet and sour from scratch.
Right.
Never did that. It took me up until the last few years of my career to make the perfect French fry. You know, aside from these tornado fries, just your regular French fry.
Right.
Just a perfect, crispy French fry. Like, I would drive me nuts. Because you go and get the house-made French fries at a lot of places, and you get the vinegar, and they come in the cone, and you're like thinking they're going to be great, and they're soggy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How many times does that happen? It's
Exactly.
like most of the time,
Tons,
right?
yeah.
Well, it's because they don't get it right, you know?
Right.
I tell you what it is. I'll tell you the secret I learned. It was this. It's weird, but you boil them first, right?
Okay.
So just most people do a 2-stage. They go at a low oil temperature, like say 300 degrees.
Right.
Like you'll rinse them, you'll cut them, you'll rinse them for a while. You'll go at a low like 300 degrees, right?
Right.
Let them cool off. Then kick up the oil to 350 and deep fry them at 350. They're nice and crunchy.
Right.
By the time you salt them and put them in the thing and give them out, they're already soggy again, though.
Wow.
That's the problem.
Right.
What you do is you boil them first. You boil them first, and it sounds so weird. Like, yeah, because I'm going to put them in a deep fryer. Why am I going to boil these? How's it going to make them crispier? But what happens is if you cut them, then boil them till they're just par cooked, let them cool off, then do your 2 stages, your low oil and hot oil. By the time, because what happens is when you do those 2 stages, by the time that 350, the second time you cook, they start to turn brown.
Right.
When you pull them out. But what happens is that that steam comes out of them.
Okay.
And by the time you get them well done on that second high push, they turn golden brown and they're crunchy, like McDonald's crunchy.
Got you.
You know, like the McDonald's, I don't care what anybody says, they got the best French fries.
They do have the best.
They do.
Yeah, right. So it's like McDonald's crunchy golden fries.
Right.
If you want to make them from scratch, boil them first, then do the 2-stage.
Right.
Cool.
And I don't know why it took me forever to figure that out.
Well, and a lot of people, they just don't realize everything that goes into creating good food.
Right.
They
there's
think,
a lot of
hey,
science behind
it's just
it.
it's magic. It comes out of the kitchen.
Right, yeah, I know it. Yeah, for sure.
And we had mentioned about supporting local Livingston businesses. That's, a big part of our podcast and why we do it. So I wanted to ask you, because you've been in Livingston County for a long time, what's your favorite thing about Livingston?
Oh, the lakes.
Awesome. Lakes are
I
beautiful.
grew up on Rush Lake, little mucky lake, shallow lake. I don't care. It's a lake. It was wet. It was cold. It was fun, you know.
Awesome.
And you go snowmobiling on the lake in the wintertime, or you could go ice fishing, or, we had an old pontoon with a 35 Johnson, and we would try to tube behind that thing. It didn't matter. It was fun.
You were in the water.
Yeah, or you go out spearing with your buddies or fishing or whatever. Going out on the lake. The lake life is my favorite part around here.
Yeah, and there's a ton of them around here. There's so many great lakes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'd say out of all the lakes, probably the best. My favorite's the Portage chain.
Okay.
Yeah, those are
And Zuki
awesome.
and Strawberry and Portage, Little Portage.
Right.
Man. The ones in hell are fun, too.
Yep.
I can't leave that out. Dustin. My buddy Dustin would get mad if I didn't bring up Highland Lake.
exactly. But that's why I love asking people about this, because everybody has a different answer, because there's so many cool things about Livingston.
Yeah.
100%. So I know we've talked a lot about some of the places over the summer that people may be able to see you.
Yeah.
And the ones that you try to get to each year and such. So if someone wanted to, learn more about you, reach out to you, say they wanted to
Hire you for a
hire
catering
you,
event,
or say, hey, where are you going to be next? How do people find out more information about you?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook, Big Kahuna Catering on Facebook, or you can email me, or you can have my phone number. I'm not sure if you guys will post it or if you try.
Yeah, we can put it on the show notes.
But yeah, call me, email me, look me up on Facebook. I was talking to Rick Bowden at one time, the Peekney Pirate guy,
Yeah.
and I gave him a list and some string. What I'll do is I'll post it on my Facebook.
Okay.
That same list. That'd be way easier. So I'll share the rest of the. That's what I'll do.
Perfect.
I'll share it, and then you can look it up on Facebook. And if you want to call me or email me, you can always message me on Facebook.
Sounds
and
good.
if you guys put my info, they could
Yep.
call, text, or email me.
Yeah.
That sounds
great.
awesome.
Yeah.
We love supporting local, and
Yeah.
you're very talented and delicious
Yeah, thank you.
products there.
No, it's been great having you on the show. And I would say to anyone out there, when you're at the local festivals, take a walk through, check out all the food and everything. The Big Kahuna is easy to spot, and check out his food. It is juicy, amazing. And also just check out our podcasts. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, anywhere else that you can check out podcasts. Please subscribe it. And you can also find us on our website at www.welcometolivingston.com.
And Facebook as well.
Facebook as well, yeah. And anything you want to know about the Big Kahuna will be in the show notes as well, with how to contact them if you want to hire them for a local event or just figure out where he's going to be next. So thanks so much for joining us today.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Justin.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
You bet.
Glad I finally made it out.
Wonderful. And welcome to Livingston.
Welcome to Livingston.
No, thank you.